Greetings, citizens of the Imperium, and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and in this video I'll be giving you everything you need to know on how to build Malstrain Genestealer gangs and Malstrain corrupted gangs in the beautiful and wonderful and murky and dark and horrible and all of the things at once game of Necromunda Hive Secundus edition. Now, Malstrain Genestealers first came out with the Hive Secundus box set, and they are warped, horrific, messed up versions of your pure strain Genestealers. So don't confuse Malstrain with pure strain. I'm not going to get into all the lore. This video is really all about the stats, as I'm sure many of you are here to find out about. Now, as soon as this book got sent to me from Games Workshop, thank you by the way, I got to making the Spira video. So I've already done a gang guide for Spiras, so go and check that out if you haven't already. It is a lot more complicated and there's a lot more special rules to think about than the Malstrain gangs. But what I am going to do here is go through the Malstrain gangs proper and also give you a little bit of the stuff on the Malstrain corrupted gangs, not to be confused with Genestealer corrupted gangs. So just from the off, I'll set things straight here. Malstrain Genestealers and regular pure strain Genestealers do not like each other at all. So Malstrain Genestealers, the models were first released with this new edition of Necromunda Hive Secundus. So if you go and buy the box, if you haven't already, you will get 6 Malstrain Genestealers in there that you can make into various poses and whatnot. You also get 8 of the Brood Scum as well as 4 of the Tyramites. That is 3 of the 4 things that you're going to need to start a Genestealer Malstrain gang. Of course, there is one other piece in the puzzle, and that is the Malstrain Coalescence, which is an horrific abomination released by Forge World, and a sort of brute that you can add to your gang either as a special sort of guy or even as your leader. But we'll get into that in a bit more detail shortly. Gang composition, though, if you've got all those models and you've got your Coalescence and whatnot, the gang composition is pretty straightforward. So for Malstrain Genestealer gangs, the gang composition is the standard rules. It's very different from Spiras. Spiras are completely a law unto themselves. This goes straight back to the original way of founding a gang. So all of the rules around founding a gang can be found in the rulebook for Necromunda or even Hive Secundus rulebook as well. No set leader. This is the main thing that is different about Malstrain gangs compared to other gangs. What we have here is that you can choose a leader from any of the champion types that you get in your gang. So there are 2 champion types. We have the Malstrain Coalescence, which is an absolute tentacled abomination of psychic power, but we also have the Malstrain Genestealers themselves as well. Now, when you found a gang, you can choose between either of those as your leader, and they then take over all the rules for the leader, with the 12-inch bubble of leadership and all of that stuff. So the gang leader and hierarchy special rules are in place for that nominated leader of the gang. Pretty straightforward so far. In campaign play, though, Malstrain Genestealer gangs are not designed, apparently not designed, this is what Games Workshop is saying in the Book of Desolation, they're not designed to be played outside of the Underhell's campaign. So I would say, please do consult your arbitrator before you just go into expecting to play these against normal gangs. They are slightly different. It's still very early. We're not sure how balanced, how good or bad they are against other gangs. I reckon they're probably pretty good though. So, the other thing that we have to talk about here, and something that we're going to get into a bit more later, is the Malstrain corrupted gangs. Now, this is not the same as regular Genestealer corrupted gangs. This is Malstrain corrupted gangs. So what that means is you have 2 different types of Genestealer corruption available to gangs in Necromunda, but we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail soon. The next thing, and probably the most exciting thing about the Malstrain Genestealer gangs, is of course the Malstrain Genestealer. Beautiful models, really hideously mutated, look like sort of deep sea anglerfish, and the way that I've painted mine I'm really happy with as well. They're just gorgeous models to paint, by the way, so if you haven't got your hands on them yet, please do so. The Malstrain Genestealer is also a champion, but can also be made into a leader if one of them, if you want one of them to be a leader. They're 270 credits each, which is very expensive, but they are absolutely monstrous. The stats are as follows. We've got a movement 6, pretty fast. We've got weapon skill 3+, ballistic skill 6+, strength 4, toughness 4, wounds 3, initiative 3+, attacks 3, leadership 7+, cool 4+. Remember that for later. Willpower 6+, and intelligence 10+. So not actually that smart for a Genestealer. They also have the gang hierarchy champion rule there as well, as mentioned before. Xenos Abomination as well. This fighter may not perform any post-battle actions, and of course skills as well. They come with a bunch of skills, a suite of 4 skills, and they are as follows. We have Dodge, giving you a 6-up invuln save, which is fantastic and goes really well with the Malstrain Genestealers kind of vibe. We also have Evade, which also goes with it, a cunning skill which makes it harder for you to hit in the open, or harder for you to be hit in the open. And we also have Nerves of Steel, which of course combined with that 4+ cool is just disgusting, meaning these guys are very, very hard to pin if you ever get a shot off at them. The other one they have is Rain of Blows as well, making the fight basic into a fight simple, meaning that if you are in combat and you haven't actually killed the thing that you're in combat with already, then you get to fight twice in a turn, which is absolutely horrific. In terms of skill access here, Agility is a secondary, Cunning is a secondary, but primary skills here we've got Combat and Ferocity. So you've already got some of the best skills in the game in those 4. Absolutely brilliant. In terms of equipment, the Malstrain Genestealer is equipped with razor-sharp claws, a venomous bite, mesh armor, and a bio booster included in their starting cost, and may purchase additional war gear from the Malstrain Genestealer equipment list. During the course of a campaign, a Malstrain Genestealer may be given additional war gear purchased from this list. This list, however, is incredibly small and only contains one thing. You can have 0 to 2 of them, and they are the exotic beast unique to Malstrains, and that is the Malstrain Tyromite for 70 credits each. Right, the next one, and also a champion, meaning that you can also use as a leader, is the Malstrain Coalescence. Seen here from Forge World, I think this model is absolutely brilliant. It really does remind me of The Thing by John Carpenter. If you're old enough to have seen that film, it's just very, very creepy. You've got sort of remnants of a human form mixed up with some tentacled Xenos Abomination kind of vibes here. So 155 credits for the Malstrain Coalescence, and this is your gang's Psyker. It's a bit like a Zoanthrope. You can kind of see elements of the Zoanthrope in there as well. Stats wise, these are movement 5, weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 5+, strength 3, toughness 4, wounds 2, initiative 3+, attacks 3, leadership 7+, cool 6+, willpower 6+, intelligence 7+. Gang hierarchy champion, as the same with the Malstrain Genestealer. These guys though can fly, so we have all the full rules for flight for this guy, meaning that they can basically traverse the battlefield very, very easily indeed. We also have Shadow of the Malstrain, so a fighter with this special rule is a non-sanctioned Psyker, meaning that you can use Malstrain weird powers as a primary skill set. We're going to get into those in a little bit. You also have the Xenos Abomination special rule, meaning that you can't perform post-battle actions, and also a skill access of Combat being secondary, Cunning being primary, and Ferocity being secondary. So some good cunning skills, perhaps Infiltrate on this guy from the off is something I would choose. You get your first skill for free, just like you do with any other champion in the game. In terms of equipment though, during the course of a campaign, a Malstrain Coalescence may be given additional war gear from this list. This list is the same list that the Malstrain Genestealer got, and that is very, very, very minimal indeed, and that's the Malstrain Tyromite again, 0 to 2 of those for 70 credits each. So, very, very different from the other champion, the Malstrain Genestealer, which is a close combat beast. This guy is your Psyker, so 2 very different roles. Either of them can be your leader. The next one to talk about is the Brood Scum. Now these guys are 30 credits and they are Malstrain Brood Scum. They are basically just scum. So I love Hive Scum in Necromunda. I think they're just fantastic. They're great fodder. They're cheap. They're not very good, but you can just throw a wall of these guys at people, especially for 30 credits. So here's where a lot of your, you can offset a lot of the expensive costs in your gang with Malstrain Brood Scum. Of course, these guys aren't very good. The stats are the same as your regular scum, but I'll go through it here just in case. We've got a movement of 5 inches, a weapon skill of 4+, ballistic skill 4+, strength and toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 4+, attacks 1, and the mental stats are all 8s across the board. So exactly the same, and 30 credits as well. No rules are any different from your regular scum here. We've got the gang fighter special rule here, gang fighter X, meaning that half of your gang has to be made of brood scum. We've also got the Malstrain specialist promotion rule here. So during campaign play, a Malstrain brood scum may become a Malstrain specialist. A Malstrain specialist gains the tools of the trade special rule, may purchase special weapons, and may spend XP to gain additional skills. Note, a gang may not start with a Malstrain specialist, unlike some other gangs. We also have tools of the trade here. This fighter enjoys access to a wide variety of weapons. A fighter with this special rule may take multiple equipment sets. So that is just for the, just for the specialists there as well. In terms of skill access, we have Cunning as a primary, again the same as your regular Scummer, and Ferocity as a secondary, so exactly the same there. In terms of equipment though, I'll just go through what it says here because there's a little bit more complicated than the other two that were super simple. Malstrain Brood Scum and Malstrain Specialists may purchase weapons and war gear from the Malstrain Brood Scum equipment list. During the course of a campaign, both Malstrain Brood Scum and Malstrain Specialists may be given additional weapons and war gear purchased from this list and from the trading post. A Malstrain Brood Scum may only be equipped with weapons chosen from the basic weapons, pistols and close combat weapons sections of this list and the trading post. Once promoted, a Malstrain Specialist may become equipped with weapons chosen from the basic weapons, pistols, close combat weapons and special weapons sections of this list and the trading post. So pretty straightforward stuff there. The list of stuff that they actually can get is basic weapons. We've got auto guns, las guns, sawn-off shotguns and shotguns. Auto pistol, las pistol, stub gun with dum-dum rounds. For close combat, we've got axe, chainsword, fighting knife, flail, maul, two-handed axe, two-handed hammer. For grenades, we've got blasting charges, frag grenades, crack grenades and smoke grenades. For armour, we have flak armour, hazard suits and mesh armour. Personal equipment, we've got the armoured undersuit, drop rig, filter plugs and photo goggles. And for weapon accessories, we've got the telescopic sight. And that's basically it. So that is your Brood Scum. These guys are going to form the bulk of your gang, or at least half of it anyway. And they are the fodder that you just chuck at people and pin them with cheap las guns, while your sneaky Malstrain Genestealer monsters just rip people to pieces, and the Coalescence pops people's brains with his special weird powers. Now for the exotic beastie, I love these things. They're basically huge ticks that just jump around. It does say that these guys fly, but I reckon they jump more. The models look like they're jumping more than flying. And if they're ticks as well, they're kind of like giant fleas, big fleshy fleas. Anyway, these guys are 70 credits each, and you can have 0 to 2 of them on each of your champions or champion type fighters or leaders. The special rules for these guys is that they also have the flight trait, and the stats are as follows: movement 7, so really fast; weapon skill 4+, which is average, pretty good; ballistic skill 6+, strength 3, toughness 2, so pretty weak and squishy; wounds 1, initiative 2+, very good there; attacks 1, leadership 8+, cool 5+, willpower 6+, and intelligence 10+. The Tyromite has the dodge skill, so they come with an inbuilt 6+ invuln save. Should a Malstrain Tyromite become a specialist, it has access to the following skill sets: agility as a primary and cunning as a secondary. The Malstrain Tyromite is armed with a stinger and equipped with flak armor and a bio booster, so similar to the rest of your gang. Those are the 4 different fighter types that you get in your Malstrain gangs. Right, so the Malstrain weird powers, these ones are unique to Malstrain gangs and Malstrain corrupted gangs should your leader become one, otherwise just the Malstrain Coalescence. The first one is Catalyst, which is a basic continuous effect spell. Whenever a friendly fighter within 12 inches of this model is taken out of action, they may perform a free shoot basic or fight basic action before being removed from the battlefield. Really cool, very fluffy. I do like that one. It's just annoying and useful to have, especially if you do it on Genestealers, who are very dangerous in close combat. I like that one. It's a nice deterrent, that one. The next one is Hypnotic Gaze. Target an enemy fighter within 9 inches. If they are standing and ready, they lose their ready marker. So an enemy fighter within 9 inches, it doesn't say that they have to be in line of sight, by the way. So you could effectively do that through a wall. You know, it's a bit ambiguous there, but I'd say that you probably could. 9 inches is not very far, but it's far enough, you know, to disrupt things and get rid of someone's activation marker, especially if they've got a flamer and they're trying to set your Genestealers on fire. So that's Hypnotic Gaze. I like that one. Having said that, you know, in the name Hypnotic Gaze, it would imply that you're staring directly at the fighter. It's also a double, by the way, so it's quite hard to pull that one off, especially at that 9-inch range, but it's a nice one to have in a clutch. The next one is the Horror, which is a basic. Target an enemy fighter within 12 inches. The targeted fighter must immediately make a nerve test. Really nice and simple. I like that one a lot. So far, I think the Horror is probably my favorite one. Just, you know, forcing people to break 12 inches away from you, particularly if they have low cool. That's really nice. You can do that to juves and pets and whatnot. I like it. The next one, this is really cool. Leech Essence. This is a basic. Target an enemy fighter within 12 inches. They suffer a Strength 3, AP -1, damage 1 hit. If they take any damage as a result of this attack, then the weird may either regain a wound lost earlier in the battle or remove a flesh wound. So this one's cool. Again, it's pretty situational, but you can stay alive by leeching other people's essence. I really do like that. It's very, very fluffy and fun. These are all very different to a lot of the other weird powers we have so far. The next one, number 5, is Paroxysm, which is a basic continuous effect again. Target an enemy fighter within 9 inches. While this power is maintained, they set their ballistic skill and weapon skill to 6+. Night Night Van Saar, this is fantastic against those shooty gangs, but it is 9 inches, so you do have to get close to them first. But when you're flying, like the Coalescence, not too bad at all. And the next one, and I love the names for these, by the way, is Aura of Despair, which is a basic continuous effect. While this power is maintained, all enemy models within 12 inches reduce their cool characteristic by 1. I like this one, just having a 12-inch bubble of sort of despair, I think is really, really cool. None of these are broken. They're all good, but none of them are particularly scary. I do really love the sort of idea of the Horror, though. I think that's probably my pick of the bunch. That's the one where you have to make nerve tests from 12 inches away. It's a basic as well, so you can move and do that. I think 12 inches is a good range too. I like them. That's the Malstrain weird powers for you. All right, now for the Malstrain unique weapons. There aren't many of them. The first one is the feeder tendrils that come with the Malstrain Coalescence. So if this guy gets stuck in combat, he is a floating weird, so he shouldn't really be getting stuck in combat. But he does have 3 attacks. He also has those 3 attacks at Strength +1, -1 AP, 2 damage, and Entangle. Which is pretty nice. You know, 2 damage at -1 AP, +1 strength on 3 attacks. It's pretty decent in close combat, really, even if he's not quite the monster that the Malstrain Genestealers are. Talking of Malstrain Genestealers, the razor-sharp claws that they have are strength +1, -1 AP, 2 damage, and rending, so pretty nasty on those. We also have the secondary weapon on the Malstrain Genestealer, which is Venomous Bite. This is the Toxin attack. It's -2 AP and Toxin. That's it. So those 2 weapons combined are really, really nasty indeed. The last one is the Stinger on the Malstrain Tyromite. This is -2 AP Toxin with Radphage, which I really like. Toxin and Radphage working together is quite unique. There's no other weapon like that. And that is it. You've only got 4 weapons for the Malstrain Genestealers. So the next thing to talk about are Malstrain corrupted gangs. Now these are slightly different. You can corrupt any of the 6 house gangs, enforcers, bad zone enforcers, corpse grinders, but for some reason no outcast, venators, ogrins, chaos helots or squats are mentioned in the rules here. Again though, this is something that you might want to talk to an arbitrator about, because I'd love the idea of Malstrain corrupted squats or ogrins. I think that would be hilarious. Again, with the normal or regular pure strain Genestealer corruption, as an arbitrator, I'm cool with any gang doing it as long as it's not for the obvious sort of broken stuff. I think if it's for fluff reasons and you're doing it just for fun, and you're not just trying to monster everybody, then it can't be that bad, right? These are the rules for the Malstrain corrupted gangs, though. Should you wish to go with Malstrain corruption as opposed to regular Genestealer corruption, it's similar but not the same. So we have the normal rules for gang creation, and the leader may be upgraded to a Psyker for 35 credits, and they get access to the Malstrain weird powers and future access to them as a primary skill set. Leaders and champions may take Malstrain Tyromites as pets, 0 to 2 of them. This is very similar to the regular Genestealer corruption, so already you've got the leader becoming a Psyker and also a unique pet. With the regular Genestealers, you've got the Psychic Familiar, which is very, very good indeed. You know, saves your bacon a lot of times. The Tyromites, though, aren't quite as good for 70 credits, but they are a real threat in close combat, and I think, you know, with the sort of -2 AP Toxin, is a good way of protecting maybe a shooty leader or a champion with a heavy weapon or something against would-be assassins. The Coalescence, you can have one of them in your gang, and you can have 0 to 3 Malstrain Genestealers as well. However, these all count as brutes, so follow the normal rule for brutes in your gang. So should you have the right amount of rep for them, you can take Malstrain Genestealers and indeed one of the Malstrain Coalescences as well. Now here comes the real part that I was a little bit shocked about, is you can have unlimited brood scum. Now I already said this, brood scum are very cheap and efficient ways of getting las guns or whatever else you want on the table, a wave of scum. So if you consider this, normally it doesn't sound that great, but if you consider adding 30 credit scum to, say, a quite elite gang like Goliaths or heaven forbid Van Saar, all of a sudden you throw the balance out completely, and you can have a gang that is quite elite with small numbers suddenly have a shit ton of brood scum everywhere with las guns and stuff. Personally, I think that's pretty scary. The other thing as well, and it's not actually mentioned here in the Book of Desolation, is that these guys are surely outlaws, right? Regular Genestealer corrupted gangs are indeed outlaws, and I would say that the Malstrain corrupted gangs are also outlaws too. Alright, so I've done a gang list here for you, just one, in fact, of how you might build a Malstrain Genestealer gang. And what I've gone for here for 1,000 credits, should your arbitrator be letting you use this in any other campaign structures, then you'd be using this perhaps. I've gone for a Malstrain Coalescence as my leader. I've then gone for 2 of the Malstrain Genestealers, which is more than enough to just kill an entire gang. And then I've gone for 1 Tyromite to add to the Malstrain Coalescence, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Brood Scum, all with different weapons. The first one with an auto gun, second one with a las gun, third with a flail and stub gun, the fourth with a stub gun and auto pistol, and the fifth with an axe and a stub gun. So pretty decent, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters with a pet. Not bad at all. I think that's pretty scary. Of course, you haven't got any high damage dealing ranged weapons in there, but all you need to do is use your scum as a sort of, a net to just sort of round people up into, pin them, and then just run in with your pincer movement Genestealers and just slaughter everybody while your Coalescence is just flying around causing disruption. I really like it. It's a cool gang. Okay, so my sort of afterthought and roundup of the Malstrain gangs is this, really. It's very simple, and I think it's deliberately simple, a bit like Ogryns are, and there are a couple of other gangs in the game that are deliberately designed in a very simple way. It is a shame that you can't do a lot of the fluffy stuff in campaigns, post-battle actions and whatnot with your Genestealers. Of course, you can't really arm them with, whatever weapons you want to, because they're Genestealers. They're not interested in weapons. They've got incredibly efficient claws or psychic powers, so it makes sense. Of course, your scum you can do a little bit with in campaigns, but really you're not going to see a huge amount of flavour in the development of this gang, and that's really the only downside. I think they're going to be very fun to play in sort of skirmish games and sort of early on in campaigns, but you're probably not going to want to play these guys over a really long-winded campaign, because I just don't think you'll fall in love with the characters as much as you do in your regular Necromunda gangs, or at least I think so anyway. I do, however, think there is much more to do with Malstrain corrupted gangs. I think Malstrain corrupted gangs are really, really nice, particularly that Games Workshop has written in the fact that you can use enforcers, bad zone enforcers, and corpse grinders and whatnot to corrupt as well. So not just the 6 house gangs. That's quite specific in the way that this is worded. But I also just love the fact that you've got 2 types of Genestealers to play with now. So these guys certainly haven't overwritten the regular Genestealer cults or Genestealer corrupted gangs. These are to go alongside. And like I said earlier, these guys would certainly hate each other. I'd love to see a couple of games between both sides. Perhaps I'll do a narrative battle report between Genestealer corrupted and Malstrain corrupted gangs at some point. Lots of aberrants against Malstrain Genestealers. I don't know. We'll see who comes out on top there. But similar, but not the same. And I think that's the whole point with Malstrain gangs, is that they are a messed up, horrible and horrific, weird version of regular Genestealers, as if Genestealers weren't weird enough already, right? Anyway, this was a shorter video than the Spyro video because there really isn't as much to get through. It is quite a simple gang list. I'd like to see what the community does out there in terms of building them, and if there's anything that I've missed here, please do let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, I'll be back with another gang video real soon. Peace out.